Hey, how's it going out there? In this video, I'm going to review what are your chances of being detained by ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement here in the United States. My name is Rodrigo Canido. I'm an immigration attorney, and I do videos on different immigration topics and how to get legal status here in the United States. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to subscribe to this channel. All right, so let's start off with who are the vulnerable groups that may be detained by ICE? Well, the first group is of people you probably heard about on the news, right? That's the focus right now. People who are undocumented and have committed crimes here in the United States, serious crimes, all right? So those folks are definitely vulnerable to being detained by ICE. The next group is people who have been ordered deported, all right? They've been ordered to be removed from the United States already, all right? And the third group is people who entered here recently, okay? People who entered here recently, of course, those people who were undocumented, all right? So those are the more vulnerable groups that can be detained by ICE from everything we're seeing right now. However, it's important to know that just because you're not in one of these groups, that doesn't mean that you can't be detained by ICE. All right. From what the reports show, those ICE officers that you've probably seen in video clips, perhaps detaining people, they have quotas. All right. So they have to detain a certain amount of people per day. All right. So that could mean that if, say, you're not one of the people in their focus group, if they happen to catch you and maybe you have done nothing wrong other than being undocumented, yeah, then in certain situations they can pick you up. All right, so just important to keep that in mind. No one is really secure, who's undocumented here from not being detained by ICE. All right, it's also important to know that in the past there were these areas, that are considered sensitive areas that ICE generally did not go to. From everything I've researched, but now they can definitely go into schools, they can go into churches, they can go to places where people get medical care, okay? So just because you happen to be in one of these places, that doesn't mean that you are safe from ICE, all right, from being picked up, all right? And as I mentioned, this is the focus right now, Moving forward, what the administration or those who work in the administration are saying is that people who are simply undocumented could be picked up. All right, we'll see what actually happens, but that's what they're saying right now. All right. So what does that mean for someone who's undocumented in the United States? What does that mean for what they should do? Right? Obviously, some will say, well, they should leave. Well, I understand that. All right. But if they want to stay, all right, if they want to do something to try to, fix their situation, they should definitely try to at least see an immigration attorney first, all right? It's common sense, right? And see what their options are. Now, I would never say do anything in violation of the law, right? But you want to do what you can to fix your situation legally. All right, so an immigration attorney, if you meet with one with experience, they'll ask you a bunch of questions, right? They will ask you about your past, how many times have you entered the United States? When did you enter? Do you have a criminal history, right? There's a lot of questions that we ask to determine whether you are eligible for some type of immigration benefit, some type of immigration status. And just a couple examples. If you're here in the United States and you've been the victim of a serious crime and have cooperated with law enforcement, all right, you may be able to apply for a U non-immigrant status. All right, with this status, you can help your, if you're married, you can help your spouse. If your spouse does not have legal status, you can help your children if they're under 21 and not married. Okay, so these are the types of people. This is one way you might be able to fix your legal status, all right? Another way is if you can demonstrate that you would be subject to persecution in your home country, or that the government will try to torture you directly or indirectly. In that situation, you may be able to apply for asylum or protection under the Convention Against Torture, okay? A third one is one that's commonly known, right? So if you have family members certain family members who are U.S. citizens. That could be a son or daughter, a spouse, parents, right? They may be able to apply for you or petition you so you can apply for a green card. All right. Now, there's a lot of questions that attorneys will ask about that particular process. Well, for all the process I'm discussing, but yeah, there's a lot of situations where someone qualifies and some situations where someone doesn't qualify. Yeah, keep in mind, you might be here 10, 20, 30 years, and really because of your unique situation, you may never qualify for anything. Okay, but it's important to find out if you're not already informed about your options. Okay, so that's definitely something I'd recommend you do to try to fix your situation. And then another thing is confrontations with ICE, right? So under the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, you have the right to remain silent if you're confronted by law enforcement. So you have the right not to incriminate yourself. All right, so if you provide ICE information about your legal status, then that could be what they need to help detain you, and eventually you might be deported because of that. Additionally, if ICE goes to your residence, whether it's a house or apartment or whatever, there are certain requirements of what they need to enter your residence if you don't voluntarily let them in. For my research, they need a warrant to enter your residence, and the warrant has to have certain information. All right. Now, my understanding is there's different types of warrants. So you might want to educate yourself to see what that warrant needs to say, so you are legally required to let ICE into your residence. Generally, a good way for them to show that they're allowed to enter your home is if they show the warrant to you maybe at a window so you can see it, or slide it under the door of your residence. Okay? So that's something to keep in mind if ICE visits your home. Another thing that's good to do is have a plan. Have a plan if the worst scenario happens, right? If you are detained by immigration, who's going to look after your family? If you have children in particular, what is the plan? So if you are detained by ICE, someone should, know what to do while you're incarcerated. Hopefully, you know someone that can help you out. And of course, have contact of an immigration attorney that you trust, where if the worst case scenario happens, someone can contact the immigration attorney and see if perhaps they can help you get out. Now, you may not always be able to get out, but in some situations you can. I can tell you for experience, I have gotten some people out of detention before. All right. So those are just some things to keep in mind in the situation we currently are in, all right, here in the United States. And also, if you would like some help with a particular matter, my contact information is below. All right. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video.